Our next speaker, Robert Blazer, The Unbreakable Promise. The Unbreakable Promise. Robert Blazer.
There's a little boy, Nick, who grew up in an old log cabin. No running water, no electricity. And it had a tiny old outhouse down by the river. And little Nick despised that outhouse. In the summertime, it had bugs in it and bee nests. He even saw a snake go in there one time. In the wintertime, it was cold and damp. And he'd be just as happy if that outhouse were to disappear. His chance came one summer morning, rained all night long, and that river flooded up by the outhouse. He went and found a big stick and a rock, and he made a fulcrum, and he tucked it underneath that outhouse, and he pushed, and he pushed, and he toppled that outhouse into the river. It floated out into the raging rapids and down around the bend and out of sight. That evening, his father looked him in the eye and said, "Little Nick, did you push the outhouse in the river today?" Now, little Nick had been reading the story about George Washington and the cherry tree, and when he chopped it down, by telling the truth, he was rewarded. So he looked at his father in the eye and said, "Father, for I cannot tell a lie. I did push the outhouse in the river today, and I am forever sorry." Father said, "Go to your room, you're reprimanded." Little Nick said, "Well, Father, did you read the story about George Washington and the cherry tree?" Father said, "Yes, I did. The difference was, when George Washington chopped down that cherry tree, his father was not in the tree." Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, especially our guests, this is a story about telling the truth, about being truthful. It's a story about trust and honesty, and about being a good role model for these character traits. When my oldest son turned 16, he got a girlfriend's cell phone and driver's license all the same day, and it just pushed him over the edge. He was unbearable. He broke every rule in the house and then some. One of the simple rules had to do with this Axe deodorant, spelled A-X-E. It's the most potent deodorant in the world. The boys would just marinate themselves in it before going to school. The simple rule was, you keep in the garage, you put it on in the garage. One morning after they left for school, I went upstairs to get ready. When I hit that cloud of Axe spray, my eyes started burning, my nostrils started running, my sinuses draining, and it just knocked me to my knees. Out of anger, I went into his room and I found the deodorants, I found the colognes, and I threw them in a trash can. I took that trash can outside and I dumped it in the garbage. It actually felt pretty good. When Nick discovered what had happened, he came to me in tears and he said, "Dad, how could you?" And what he was upset about was not that I had thrown these things away, although one of the colognes was very special to him from his girlfriend. What he was upset about was that I had went into his room without first telling him. See, he didn't have much in life. All he had was this little space in our house that he called his. It was sacred to him. All he wanted was a little respect. Our relationship was hanging on by a thin thread, and I thought to myself, you know, I can do that. I made him a promise. I made him an unbreakable promise that I would not go in his room without first telling him. We even shook on it. And you could feel that thin thread of our relationship solidifying, the affectionate bond that had formed, the connection that we made at that moment. Roll the clock forward. Same stuff going on, breaking every rule, driving me crazy. I know his hormones were messed up. I know he was confused. He's just trying to figure out life and needs some time. I was going crazy. It was like water dripping on my head. One time I turned to his mother and I said, "Listen, either he's got to move out or I'm moving out." And then it happened. It happened one morning when she was gone for a week gone at the beach with several other moms for Mom's Getaway. It happened shortly after they left for school. Something made me just snap. I went in, I was going to do a shakedown. Now, a shakedown in the prison movies is where the guards go in the prisoner cell and they look for something out of order. I went in his room and it didn't take me more than 30 seconds. I opened the closet door, slid open the shirts. On the shelf, under the shirts, were 2 containers and a thermos from the kitchen. I opened up the thermos and I smelled it. It was liquor. Busted your little brat off. Felt so good. So good to catch you. I just felt the anger and poison draining out of my body. And that's when I realized what had just happened. I had violated our trust. I had taken the unbreakable promise and I had just thrown it out the window. Now what? Do I confront him and confirm what an untrustworthy, good-for-nothing father I was? Or do I say nothing? Let it go. Maybe he gets in trouble. Worse yet, somebody gets hurt. In desperation, I called his mother. The moms converse and call me back and say, here's what you do. You go in the closet, you drain the liquor from the containers, you refill them with water, put them back on the shelf, slam the closet door, and don't say a word. Think about it. If you were a 16-year-old kid, would you confront your parents and stole your liquor? No! And if I said absolutely nothing, could you be certain, without a doubt, that I was the one that did it? No! Your brother did it! It was brilliant! Over the years, months, years, Nick matured. And I learned how to make and keep an unbreakable promise. It was gut-wrenching at times. I made many promises. And I was tested over and over, and I bit my tongue. But during that time, you could feel that thin thread of a relationship solidifying, the affectionate bonds that it was forming, and you could feel us developing a healthy father-son relationship. And today, we're good friends. Fellow Toastmasters. Many stories have a takeaway. The takeaway from this story is to build our relationships on trust and honesty. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you make a promise, be true to it. To anchor our relationships on trust and honesty. And if we anchor our relationships on trust and honesty, our unbreakable promises will become unbreakable friendships. Mr. Contest Master.